What to do, YouTube? It's another glorious sunny day. There was rain earlier. Stopped. Sun's out. Birds are chirping. And I'm just getting in all that sun. It's feeling so nice. But I aspire that you are doing well wherever you are, whatever time you're seeing this at. And whether you resonate with this message or you don't, I'm just glad you're here. So thank you for being here. Thank you for existing as per usual. I don't really have like a guideline or like, basically where I'm going with this, like part by part. I guess I would just like to start this off by saying that obviously I know I'm not alone. To other people out there, you're not alone either, because cycles will only perpetuate until you decide to not only have the awareness, but you are also going to decide to acknowledge and do something about it. Because we can all have the awareness that, I'm going to have to change this, I'm going to have to do that, or, I'm realizing that I have these kind of habits or tendencies, and you don't do anything about it. But truly, awareness only stays there until you decide to go further with it, which is acknowledgement and just dealing with that stuff and confronting it head on and dealing with it and leaving that to the past version of you. You know what I'm saying? I still live at home. Home is where I am regardless, but I still live at my family residence. Let's just say that. I still live in my family residence, and over the years, things have just gotten, I don't want to use the word worse, but things have definitely been on a decline in terms of just that family bond. And, really having that family connection aside from just being related to each other, you know what I'm saying? Because to me, like, for a lot of these people, they're just related to me. Like, we're not really family. Like, we share DNA. Like, we got some similarities in our DNA, but like, shit, I can't call you family. And I've had so much time to really sit down and unpack a lot of things, because I could sit here and try and tell you the whole rundown of what my family has been through from my perspective, and this video really might run on to be like a whole 24 hours, because there's just that much, as per any other family would probably say, because we all go through our own things, and it all matters about what you choose to do past that. Unfortunate things happen and not ideal things happen, but it's always up to you with how you're going to decide to move forward with that, because what's happened has already happened. It's just now, okay, what are we going to do about that? Specifically, growing up with my parents, my mother, very, very narcissistic. And then my dad, always did the best that he could and really poured into us as much as he could. But he was very passive. And I guess that also plays into where things are with my family now, where, conversations can't even be had, because my two parents are not on the same page about a lot of things. I'm not even gonna unpack that, because that is what it is. Growing up with a narcissistic mother is not for the weak. And with, like I said, being at my family residence, I feel like I'm literally just kind of at my wits or at my end, and call it a little vent, because that's how I feel right now, whatever. And some days, don't get me wrong, there's always gratitude through it all, okay? There's always gratitude through it all. But when you realize the kind of person that you're dealing with, and if we have the understanding that, everything is energy, and like, attract and repel, and like being with different types of people will have you moving a certain way, because like, that you not per se like can't be your full authentic self with them, but it's like you would rather not to, because that's just not going to be cherished or taken in the way how you present it has. And I know that my siblings feel the very same way about my mother, because we've all had like our discussions about it. Sorry, the birds chirping is just so amazing right now. Like, I'm out in nature. But specifically, like with my siblings, like I know we all had these conversations, and we've been picking up on just how much of a challenge it had been to just keep it going and to keep moving and keep it pushing, because like, where else were we gonna go as like children, and all the things that our mother has said to us really had us thinking like, wow, if you truly love your children, why would you say these kind of things to them? And as an adult now, obviously I'm old enough to take care of myself. My mom's no longer legally responsible for me, because that's just how law works and whatnot. It's all up to the parent to be like, yeah, I still care for you as my child, even though you're over the age of 18, even over the age of 21. But I've realized that when it comes to just going to my mom for like anything, I can't, because her philosophy and her ideas and her methods of thinking is centered around herself, centered around fear, centered around fear mongering, centered around survival, and it just goes on and on and on. And I don't like the fact that parents, mother or father, can look at your children or look at their children and say, I deserve this and I deserve that because, I did this for you, I did that for you. In the case of my mother, it's always I carried you for 9 months and I birthed you into this world and all this kind of stuff. First of all, let me just go out there and say, I'm going to be real vulnerable and real transparent here, but my mother has literally told one of my siblings on the phone a few months ago that if she believed in abortion, she wouldn't even had any of us. And let me remind you that there are 5 of us in total, same mom, same dad, okay? And to have 5 kids and you saying that you wouldn't even have birthed any of us if you believed in abortion, but God in his wisdom had a plan and I just had to go through that and blah 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 blah. And it's not right, because now me has an adult, I'm left wondering, I'm just like, damn, like, was I ever truly loved all along, or was I just looked at as a resource when she can't do the same things that she can do for herself anymore? Or, just looking at, children as a resource and has what's the word? You get what I mean. But literally looking at your child has like just that thing you turn to when you can't do it yourself, or relying on your children and like literally burdening them, because where's the love? And on the other hand, if things truly are good and like that love is shown from the jump, like I'm telling you, kids would not, I don't even want to use the word turn on their parents or like distance themselves from their parents if they truly were given love and they felt that love, because like people know that feeling when they receive love. And for me, it had been really hard to heal through my mother wound. I discovered that it was deeper than I thought back in when was it? July 2023. More so October 2022, but yeah, July 2023 was when I was really like in the thick of it, like grieving my mother even though she's still alive, because the connection's not there. If I need to go to her for anything, even if I want some financial advice, I can't even get that from my own damn mother. Like, How crazy is that? I can't get emotional support. I can't get, any type of love. If I have anything to vent to, there's going to be some way or another where she's going to turn it back on herself and make the conversation about herself and all her hardships and all the things she went through, because she migrated to Canada from Jamaica back in the 80s. And how your parents like to talk about how things were for them back in the day when we were in a different timeline, in a different era overall. But that is what it is. Overall, it had just been really challenging to accept that reality, because I feel that no matter who you are in life, there's always going to be that yearning and that longing for a mother's love. And my mom was or is not the type of an affectionate person. She doesn't say I love you. She won't even utter the actual words thank you. She'll say anything to not say thank you. Or she'll say everything outside of just actually saying the words like thank you to someone. She'll say I appreciate it. She'll say some other thing that's literally just like a different way of saying thank you, but like in a different language. And that kind of stuff, it's not cool, because regardless, I have always been longing to have that connection, have that affection towards her. Even when it came to hugging, kissing, she didn't like any of that kind of stuff. And she would always just cover it up by saying it's not her love language. But I just feel wow, you birthed 5 kids and you don't even hug any of them. You don't tell any of them that you love them. When they do things for you, you don't even say thank you, because bottom line, underneath it all, a narcissistic mother we're talking about here, she just believes that she deserves it, and all this kind of stuff should be handed to her and should be given to her, because look at all that I did for you. Look at the bare minimum that I did for you. And I just feel it's really messed up to throw it back in somebody's face about all the things you did from them if it was from a genuine place. If I'm doing a favor for somebody, I'm not gonna go and be oh, how could you? Remember I did this, that? Because it's just where is the genuineness in all of that? You weren't genuine if you're gonna want to keep that memory in your mind just to throw it back in someone's face later down the line, just because they decide, okay, I can't do this for you, I don't want to do this for you, y'all just get into some sort of disagreement or argument. I feel that kind of stuff is just really immature and really low. And my mom had always just been that way, even till this day. I literally heard it from her yesterday, and she's talking about, oh yeah, with all the things that's happening with my kids, my mom never raised me like that. Back in Jamaica, it was this, that, and it's look around. Number 1, we're in Canada. Number 2, you started a family in Canada. Number 3, I am not your mom's kid, and your mom is not my mom, and your siblings are not my siblings. We're dealing with a whole different generation here, and nonetheless, people do not realize how much things can just get so generational. I can see just how much my family has fallen apart, all because my mom had decided, and my dad too, they had decided to not intervene with things, or decide to not facilitate things, or kind of be that glue, or attempt to be that glue to help bond the family back together again. Because at the end of the day, when you're a parent and you got children, you are responsible for raising your child. And if there's any fights or bickering going on, or people are holding grudges against each other, you got to be that parent to step in and be hey, this isn't right, da 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 da. Obviously, it's always a child's choice, but at the end of the day, at least there is an attempt that was made regardless. That is what the point is. An attempt is made regardless. And with things being generational, I could see that in both my mom and my dad's family, it was normalized to not have communication. It was normalized to sweep things under the rug. It was normalized to avoid the elephant in the room. And I see it all. Like I said, I've had so much time to unpack this and to be able to accept it for what it is, because that's just another lesson I learned through these kind of things. Because there's always a lesson, and there's always things to learn from everything, no matter how unfortunate it is. You know what I'm saying? It's all perspective. So for me, I'm able to look at this and I'm like, wow, like, it just really reminds me the things that we cannot change. We need to just change our perspective about it and keep it pushing, because otherwise you're still just hung up on what could have been and what should have been, and all this kind of stuff is out of your control. You can only control how you respond to it. And I just be doing my best to like remind myself and like center myself back to the fact that, like, you know, I'm at least grateful that I conduct myself how I do, and I'm not perpetuating the same cycles that, you know, my parents did and beyond. And that is the heavy weight of being a generational curse breaker, because it's not easy. And people don't have the time or the resources to even be able to unpack that kind of stuff. And I am fortunate enough, and I am grateful that I could actually be able to analyze these kind of things and have the time to think about it, because I'm not in survival. I'm not in lack mentality. I'm not thinking about just, you know, how to survive and what's my next move to make sure that this gets taken care of, that takes care of, and I have food to eat and all this kind of stuff. I at least have a bed to sleep in. I'm super grateful for that kind of stuff. And even though it's in an environment where the energy is just so like not welcoming and like not very loving, like, I have to keep pushing through that, and I'm grateful that I can be able to push through that, because at the end of the day, like, these kind of things, like, they either make or they break you. Like, and I know a lot of people come from these kind of homes and overall just deal with like that brokenness of not having the family that they desire, not having the family support that they desire, not having, you know, the loving, nurturing relationships with their parents that they wish that they could have. And these kind of things are tough. Like, it's so hard to unpack. I can't tell you how many times I have bawled my eyes out really thinking about what could have been, and, you know, just grieving and like having that sadness just ooze out of me so that I can be able to alchemize and reshape that and redirect my focus back to what really matters. And that's just where I am right now, and what I've been able to do with all the things that I've been through. And I feel like it's just so valid when people decide not to go no contact with their parents, or like with their narcissistic mom, dad, whatever the case may be. Like, it's all valid, because at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna be the one to say it as well. I don't like when people want to take it in the way where it's like, oh, you have only one mother in this lifetime though, or, you know, you shouldn't be thinking like that towards your mom after all the things she did for her, and like, it's her first time living, and like all these excuses. And we can have so many reasons not to do something when we really do want to do it. Like, if people want to distance themselves from toxic parents, why the hell should they not do that? I don't see why we need to abandon ourselves in order to keep other people happy. That's people pleasing tendency, and that's literally abandoning yourself. Like, I'm not with that. I used to be there. I can't go back. And obviously with being at the house still, obviously with being at the family residence still, I have to be able to, you know, still keep my head high and keep my emotions elevated as much as possible. I'm not gonna say, oh, like, I always have to all the time, because things happen. Like I said, like, I cry, I think about things, I have to process it, I release it, and then I keep it pushing. But I feel like, especially with being at home, it's been really good for me to, you know, not want to act on my emotions. And even though I may feel like a disconnect between my mother and I'm not gonna go and, like, you know, just be rude to her and like give her attitude. Like, at the end of the day, those kind of things only, I feel, what's the word, like, enhances that kind of relationship and just the type of energy you will get back, because you get back what you put out, you know. And she is already a very how she described not friendship material type of person. She's not really friendly and all that kind of stuff, and she's accepted that. Like, who am I to even think that I could change her? Now we're just dreaming. We're just wishing on a star at that point. And I ain't here to change nobody. I'm just here to really do me and do what feels right to me. And I just feel like people are not wrong for cutting off, distancing, or, you know, just ultimately, like, yeah, separating themselves from their parents. Because it's like, there should not be that tie or that link only because y'all are related, or like this person has this kind of like relationship or like bond to you, whatever. At the end of the day, like, I'm still human, they're still human. Like, title or not, I deserve respect. I deserve to be treated how I see myself being treated with other people, because I know what I'm willing to do for other people, and I know what I can give other people. And if that stuff is not going to be, you know, reciprocated, not that it's coming from a place where I feel the need to do this stuff only because it should only be reciprocated. No, only because at the end of the day, I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I recognize what the other person's intentions are and just their overall personality, and I just go through with that only because of a sake of a title on our relationship, or like who that person is to me. Hell nah, hell nah, hell nah, hell nah, hell nah, hell nah, hell nah. And I just see more and more how much she hasn't my mother, but I see how much she has pushed away all the people who truly would have just been in her corner had she just had that respect. And a relationship that does not even have respect, like, what are we working with? What are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not going to be respected and just seen as a person, not necessarily as, like, you know, a child and all this possession stuff. Oh, you're my child, you got to do this for me, you got to do that for me because I did that for you. I'm not with that. And it's took me so long to separate myself from that feeling of guilt, or to, you know, rid that feeling of guilt, because once again, oh, like, that's your mom and like all the things she's done for her. But it's like, fuck caring about the bare minimum like that. Like, at the end of the day, if you're gonna make a conscious decision and create a child with another person and have that child, bro, that's a conscious decision. Like, like, I don't know what else to tell you aside from the fact that, like, you made that choice to get together with somebody and create children together. Times 5, okay? Times 5. I'm the last born. Times 5. And so with all that, like, I just really understand how much it is important to just do me, and to also have that gratitude for, you know, who my mother is. Because at the end of the day, like, who would I be if it wasn't for her? That's why I'm saying, like, you can be allowed to talk about some stuff and unpack some stuff and still have that gratitude for it, because it's like, yeah, I don't even know who I'd be without my mom being able to show me how important it is to focus on what you do want to become instead of what you don't want to become. Like, if I was in this whole, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be a narcissist, I don't want to be selfish, I don't want to be self-centered, I don't want to be nonchalant about other people's feelings and their experiences and all this kind of stuff that's important to them, like, nah, I'm gonna be like, nah, I'd rather be a loving person, I'd rather be a caring person, I'd rather be a selfless person, and really pour into other people, knowing that that love is just really what they need. Like, we all love and we all yearn for love, and it's a great feeling to be able to get that and give that, because it shouldn't be always just like a give, and that other person's taking. My mom loves to do the taking stuff, and she don't like to give anything because she doesn't have anything to give at the end of the day, actually. Woo, kind of clocked that there. Kind of clocked that right there. Hold on. Woo. okay. I'm just really speaking facts, or speaking my truth, because I know at the end of the day, you ask her how she feels about everything, she's gonna tell you a whole different thing, because at the end of the day, she's a victim in her reality, and I'm the creator of my reality, period. But it's true, now that I'm really thinking about it, she didn't really have anything to give anybody. Like I said, she wouldn't even give us hugs, she wouldn't give us no love and affection. We literally only got the bare minimum, and that bare minimum is held over our heads for every single thing that we don't want to do, or just a reason for her to feel like she deserves what she's asking for, what she feels that she deserves overall. Like, and that's where, you know, she loses me, because you're telling me that, once again, making the conscious decision to have kids and doing that times 5 with somebody else, obviously you're gonna have to give the bare minimum, being food, shelter, clothes, because otherwise you're gonna be in trouble. What the hell? You're gonna be in trouble with some people who you don't want to be in trouble with. So it's like, yeah, have kids, give them food, give them water, give them a place to sleep, give them clothes, show up at their parent-teacher conferences and all that kind of stuff, because like that's just the bare minimum. I don't see why anybody be like, oh my gosh, mother of the century, you did so much for us. Like, bare minimum. Mind you, aside from that, she's emotionally unavailable, has a tendency to make everything about her, no matter what the case is. It's actually crazy. No matter what the case is, she always has a way to put it back on herself and talk about herself and trauma dump and all these kind of things to make it seem like, you know, what you're going through is nothing compared to what she's been through. And I hate that shit. I hate that shit. Because every experience is valid, and I get it. Like, different upbringing. Like I said, she came from Jamaica, in a whole different era, whole different generation. It's 2025. I'm Gen X, okay? That's a baby boomer. Like, we're dealing with 2 different timelines here. You know what I'm saying? And so, honestly, to those out there who really be dealing with this kind of stuff, like, it is not for the weak, man. It's not easy, but what keeps you going is really just knowing that you were able to use your observations on someone else's life to reform your own and redirect your thoughts, redirect your focus, and pour all that energy and all that attention into becoming the person who you want to be, and also the kind of person that you wish that you had. I swear to you, I'm literally the person that like I'm not even gonna be like this whole like carbon copy, but like at the end of the day, like who I am is definitely like who I want to see in other people. Like, I would love to see these kind of qualities in other people, because it comes from a genuine place. And for my mom, like, I'm not gonna want to run into more people like her, because it's like I'm done with that. And I only want to surround myself around like-minded people like me, because I had been able to see what it's like for someone to deal with someone else on the other side of the spectrum, where they're just miserable and unhappy with life, and, you know, in survival, and just like living in fear and all these kind of things that just don't resonate with you. I think I'm gonna stop the video here. Yeah. Key takeaways though, you know, I just feel like, for me personally, you're allowed to complain about some stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, it happens, like, because we've all been there where we're just like, yeah, I wish I could change this, I wish I could change that, but like, you don't let that create a home in you, you know what I'm saying? Express it, feel it, but don't let it create a home in you, and you're just consistently moping about that every day, you know? Feel it, alchemize it, and you can move on respectfully, because at the end of the day, like, if you allow these people, or for example, my case, if I allowed my narcissistic mother to really get in my head and, you know, dictate how I should be living, like, I'd be miserable as fuck. I'd be so fucking unhappy. What the hell? But I can be able to look at it and be like, hey, yeah, like, I recognize things for what they are. I cannot change the whole situation about it. I could change my perspective, and that's actually more than enough. Because what else am I gonna do? And I can't keep having myself in these cycles of just like moping and being sad about the things that I wish I could change, or the things that I experienced at the cost, or not the cost, or I experienced because of my mother. And she'll never even know the severity of that, nor will she even care. And that kind of stuff is just what you accept and you move on from. And I feel like that's just so important, no matter who you're dealing with, man. We really have the power to control ourselves, and that is just the most powerful thing alone, because it's like, it's so easy for other people to have control over you merely just because of your emotions. I'm not saying like, you know, puppet, like this person's making you like do all these things physically, but like emotionally, mentally, all that kind of stuff, like people can have control over that. And when you free yourself from that and you're embodying what it means to be a free thinker as much as possible, like that's powerful. So I aspire this message resonates. I really had to like come out here and record that because it's been on my mind, and lately things have been a little intense personally, with my own mother, and like being able to unpack all the stuff we went through as a family and all that kind of stuff. And I'm ready to be more and more open about it the more and more I process it, because, you know, the more people can resonate and connect with it, hear my perspective, and like, you know, at the end of the day, people don't really want to feel alone, especially with hard stuff like this. And they know they're not alone, but it could literally just be a matter of, you know, watching a video like this and being like, oh wow, like I feel a bit better, even if it's just for the moment right now. Like at least I've contributed to helping someone feel just a bit better about the situation that they've been in, or that was a part of their past and everything, or even if it's still the reality, like me, you know. But it's funny because my mom would always say the saying, and she would say nothing lasts forever, and it's true. So take that as you will. When it comes to these kind of dynamics and these kind of relationships, even that in its own does not last forever, and things have their time in your life, and you can always be the learner and know, or just, you know, find out what things are trying to teach you, because at the end of the day, like, there's no actual book telling you what to learn from these kind of relationships and all these kind of dynamics and stuff. Like, you are the one who's taking that away and being able to alchemize that and apply it to your life and just keep it moving and keep it pushing, because life is just experience, bro. Simple as that. It's just experiences on top of experiences on top of experiences. And, you know, your first op maybe your parents, but there's power in that, because that's how you know how to really carry yourself in the exterior world, because it doesn't just stop at your parents, you know what I'm saying? There's plenty of other people out there like that who are narcissistic, selfish, rude, arrogant, self-centered, dismissive. Oh gosh. Please, okay. Okay. It's all for me. And to whoever's watching this, whether you go through this stuff or you don't, regardless, peace and love, peace and love. There is sun after the storm. light at the end of the tunnel. Keep going. Your story does not end here unless you want it to. Two truths can exist at once, and at the end of the day, the ball is always in your court. I love you.